You know, there was an expression, maybe it's gone out of vogue, called peak oil. That we'd looked at the world's oil reserves, we looked at our consumption, and at some point, the degree to which we found new oil started to decline, but our consumption was peaking, and that we'd reached the point of maximum oil. And after that, it was just a long road downhill. We better do something else because peak oil has passed. Now, you can take that same concept and apply it to other spaces. And I've been looking at the adoption patterns behind security in the DNSSEC. Started looking late in 2013. About 9% of the world's users passed their queries into resolvers that performed security validation. At the time, V6 was almost nowhere. This was an amazing number, and it kept on growing. So over the next year, 2013, 2014, and even into 2015, the number kept on climbing. More and more folk were using DNS resolvers that checked the answer. This is great, because if I really want to fool you in ways that you can't easily see that I'm doing it, I'm going to lie in the DNS, because you can't see it. So having this happen was brilliant. And it actually allowed us to think about other things, like tackling the broken, corrupt, and fractured certificate authority system by putting those same keys in the DNS and signing them with DNSSEC. We can actually make the internet a more secure place. And lately, with our work on aggressive NSEC caching, and APNIC has supported that use inside the latest versions of Bind, we're actually able to use DNSSEC to help with DDoS attacks. Fantastic. More of it. But no. Across 2016, we reached this peak of around 15% and stabilised. More users weren't doing validation of DNS answers, and across 2017, the number started to fall. And today, it's not 15%, it's not 14%, it's 12%, and it's still falling. Now, this is really sad. It's sad because as a technology, I think it helps us in a lot of ways. But it leads on to a whole bunch of thoughts about what's going on. Why isn't a secure solution favoured by the market? Don't consumers want security? Don't producers and vendors want products that are more robust and reliable? Shouldn't there be a natural inclination to deploy these kinds of products that actually enhance the experience? And the answer is, well, doesn't seem to be the case. That the mechanisms that allow us to adopt better answers in terms of resilience and security, if that connection is sort of distant and not immediately obvious, the market doesn't seem to pick up on it. Instead it thinks, oh, the risks, there's more to go wrong, uncertainty, we don't know what we're doing, let's just not turn on that feature today. And then you wonder, well, what's going to change this? Will the market sort of become smarter? Unfortunately, I don't believe that. I think we are what we are, and that's not going to happen. So how do we incent better practices in the internet? How do we incent folk to actually do these kinds of things if the market isn't naturally leading us there? That's a really hard question. Our efforts to try and do so with regulation, we know don't work very well. Regulation is inefficient, it's costly, it doesn't work, you know, and lots of times the answers are way, way away from what the objectives were meant to be. But if the market's not going to do it, what are our other tools? Often I like to have answers to questions. It's really good to explain a problem and say, well, maybe if we thought over here. But I'm stumped. I'm truly stumped. And I'm kind of frustrated in some way that a good thing DNSSEC is, in my mind, much better than where we were and is worth doing, is stalling and peaking. So if you're not deploying DNSSEC, give it a go. Turn it on. It is easy, and in the long run, we'll all thank you. Please.